So half steps. A half step is the smallest unit of measurement in pitch. Pitch, of course, is how high or how low the note sounds. And a half step is what we call an interval. An interval is the distance between any two notes. So we have lots of different intervals because the distance between any two notes is a type of interval. But the half step is the smallest one. And so let's say, for example, we have the note A. It's going to sound like this. Now, one letter higher than A in the musical alphabet, the next note higher than A in the musical alphabet would be a B. It's going to sound like this. Now, the interval between A and B is called a whole step, or a major second. A whole step. Well, we don't want a whole step. We want a half step, or a minor second. So how many halves are in a whole? There's two halves in a whole, right? So to make a half step, we're going to have to put a note just in between the A and the B. So if we're on an A and we raise it a half step, that would be called an A sharp. So here's the A again. An A sharp would sound like this. So it's a little bit higher than A, not quite as high as the B though. Here's B. Right? So it's halfway in between. Now if we're on B and we want to lower it by a half step, that would be called a B flat. And once again, here's B. And so B flat would be here. So it's a little bit higher than B, or a little bit lower than B, excuse me, but not quite as low as A. Right? So A to A sharp would be a half step. A sharp to B would be a half step. Then coming down, B to B flat would be a half step. B flat to A would be a half step. Now, since A sharp is halfway up and B flat is halfway down, they're in the same spot. So listen to the A sharp. Listen to the B flat. They both sound the same. And those two notes fall into a category of notes called inharmonic tones. And that's what we're going to talk about next.